Hello and welcome to Wristwatch Obsession. I'm your host Edgar, and today we're taking a look at a really cool watch. I've been wearing this every day for a month, really putting it through its paces on walking, running, hiking, and that sort of thing. And it's become my go-to watch. I have a lot of watches to pick from. I've got many G-Shocks as well. My favorite are the squares. I'll be doing reviews of all my squares as we go along. But this is my first Casio G-Shock review I've ever done. So I'm really happy to do this one because I just love this watch. I thought it'd be fun to put some other items here that are also kind of stainless and black looking, like the watch, little pocket companions, as it were. You know, nice little Zippo lizard here. We got the Swiss tool, which is really cool to put on your keychain, built like a Swiss watch, Switzerland. Fisher space pen, you know, with the pressure and the ink, whatever you can write upside down, all that good stuff. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to put those in there. Let's get those out of the way and let's take a look at this really cool watch. Spoiler alert, I love this watch. I give it a big thumbs up. Before I forget, please like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. I buy all these watches myself. I'm not sponsored or anything, so I give all my honest reviews. But once it ends up happening is I can't afford to buy a watch, I'm not going to lie. So I do a lot of, I watch a lot of reviews and read a lot on all these watches. And my videos are going to be a little bit longer because I tend to put everything I learn about the watch into the video. So this way you can make a more informed decision on whether you're going to buy the watch or not. So that's why they're a little bit longer. You're going to get a lot of details. Isn't that a beautiful watch? Look how industrial looking it is. And that's what first gravitated me to this watch. You know, it's got bolts and screws everywhere. We got exposed screws here on the lugs. We got these buttons that kind of look like pipes coming out of an industrial machine. Totally milled, solid back there that's screwed down. You got satin finishes everywhere and polished. The black writing drew my attention too, as did the silver indices, that big silver ring in the center. We'll get into the dial in a minute, but just look at that really cool industrial look. Just amazing. And something I just discovered today, I wanted to see how fine the font is because to me they look so sharp and so nice. I'm wondering why that is. So I got a loop out and I was really shocked to find out that that isn't just printing on the stainless steel like you see like on a lot of watches. These are actually deep engraved, and the IP or paint, whatever they're using, is down inside of there. And I'll show you how. It's going to be hard to see that. Maybe at an angle you can see, but you're definitely going to hear it. So I'm going to bring this to the microphone. I'm going to run. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run this over the writing. Maybe make sure there's no ink on there. And I'm just going to go like this and go across. I'm going to put it near the microphone. All right, I hope you can hear that, man. That is really deep engraving, so that is awesome. It makes it look really good. So let me go over the features, and so you know what you're getting, and then we'll dive into the design and wearability and ease of use and all those things. All right, you can take a look at it here while we go through some of these things here. Here we go. All right, so this is a 200-meter water-resistant watch. Just like all the other G-Shocks, you got a very deep water resistance there. It is tough solar. Never needs a battery. These batteries are lasting like 20 years plus. So as long as you keep them charged up, throw them in the sun once in a while. If you wear it outside all the time, you are good to go. The dimensions are 49.2 times 53.3 and 14.5 millimeters thick. So not an overly large watch. It is much smaller than the large series of G-Shocks that is very common. So this is the GAS 100. Really cool watch. I didn't have any white watches, so I bought this one here. And I also have the zebra stripe one, or leopard stripe, whatever they call it, and that one is white as well. Other than that, I don't have any white watches, but look how big and how thick this watch is compared to this one. So this is a much more wearable watch. It fits under your coat sleeve, which this one has a very difficult time doing. I don't wear watches like this only in the summer. I don't wear them in the winter or sleepy. They don't fit over my sleeve. They don't fit in my pockets when I put my hand in my pocket. But this one doesn't have any of those problems. Don't get me wrong, I love all my G-Shocks, but it is much smaller. As you can see here in the face, it's a much much smaller watch. So the size is just excellent. And the weight is as well. This only weighs 3 ounces. This also comes in a bracelet version, and the bracelet version is going to be much heavier with all the links in it for like an 8.5-inch wrist. The all metal version of this for the really cool bracelet is on there. It's going to be all silver looking, and that one is going to be pushing 6 ounces, where this is 3. Now, if you take some links off, if you have a normal size wrist, like mine is 7.5 or under 7-inch wrist, whatever, or even smaller than that, you're going to take a lot of links out, and it's going to bring the weight down to about 5.7 ounces or so. But in this iteration here, it is very wearable, and that's why I got this version. I just wanted to wear it a lot, and my really heavy watches, I don't wear as much. I wear them often, but only if I'm going to wear them a couple hours at a time. If it's going to be like all day or something, I'd rather have a little bit lighter watch like this. So we've got 5 buttons on here on the sides. They kind of look like pipes. They're protected by that carbon core guard. These are the new series of watches that has a lot of carbon in it for strength. They can make them smaller and lighter, and hence that's why this one isn't as thick. They're able to do some tricks in here to make that happen. It has a resin strap and resin in some parts, but it's mostly carbon with resin, I guess, holding it together. So it makes it a very comfortable watch to wear. Another reason why I like this is it's easy to read. The LCD, that's a STN, or super twisted mnemonic display. You don't see these displays until you're spending about, on Casio, maybe $300 or more. That's what this retails for, around $300. And it's not until you spend that or more that you're going to get the STN display. Good time to show you a wristwatch check. Today I am wearing another G-Shock, my so-called full metal, but really it's not the full metal that has the bracelet, but it's full metal in the fact that it's a screw back. This is the GMW B5000 squares. I love the squares. I have a lot of squares. You're going to see all of those eventually. But this one has the STN display as well. As you can see it right there, it's easy to see, even though it's the reverse. They have reverse and positive LCD displays that are STN. Both are easier to read than the normal LCD. But you see more of the effect and the real difference between the two technologies when you do the reverse. And I'm going to show you that white watch again right now so you can see the difference. So these are both STN. And here is a watch that is not STN, and this one has a normal LCD. So this is when you're buying a less expensive G-Shock, if you get reverse, you're gonna get one that looks like this, the normal LCD technology. Now let's compare it to the display on this one. See the difference already? See how much harder this one is to see? That is a really great improvement. Try to get the STN whenever you can, just because of that. If you don't care about readability and it's just fashion, then it doesn't matter. But I'll turn it so you can see a little bit better. See, that's about the maximum viewability that you're going to get on that display. On this one here, you can see how easier it is to see there. All right, so that's the STN technology that's on this watch. So it doesn't run too long. Let's get moving with the features. Carbon reinforced resin. It has world time, local time. It has a hour and minute hand that is loomed with Numa Bright, and it lasts all night long. The second hand is not loomed, but it does have a second hand. How cool is that? You don't see that a lot on analog G-Shock with a digital display. So you got that second hand, which I love. You could also hit this button here, and you can see the seconds in digital as well. That's a digital time. Leave that on for a second. It has 5 alarms. It also has the hourly signal chime, so you could turn that on so it chimes every hour. It has a 1/1000th of a second chronograph that runs for like 24 hours. After an hour, it doesn't display the 1/1000. I think it's 1/10th of a second, but that's really impressive. It has a find your phone feature because this is a Bluetooth. This has Bluetooth technology for the time updating. It is not a radio controlled, so it's not a multi-band 6, but it is a Bluetooth. So if you pair it, you don't have to use your phone and pair it with and use the Bluetooth features at all. It'll do everything else, almost everything else, just with the buttons, which are very easy to use. It's very easy to set up and very easy to go through the functions. But the Bluetooth is going to add the ability to set reminders, and you can set the alarms and do everything from the Bluetooth. And it's also necessary to have a smartphone or something. Well, you need a either iOS or Android, and you download the G-Shock app. I already have it for my other G-Shocks, like this one right here. This one is Bluetooth, and this uses. So I use the same app. You could have multiple watches. You can have 3 of these watches, more than one, and it'll register them all as number 1, 2, and 3 of the model. So GST-B200 1, then it'll be GST-B200 2, underscore 2 or 3, and that's, you can tell the different watches, but it can handle it all. So it's a really cool app that's on your phone that makes it work. And 4 times a day, it'll hit up the phone with Bluetooth. This will send a request for the time update, and it'll update the time. I can't do that right now because I'm actually using my iPhone to record this video outside today. And this is another one of my on the deck reviews. I figure while the weather is really nice, I'm going to be doing the nice lighting that's outside on my back deck. I wish it was on a deck on a boat, but then it would be rocking, and that wouldn't be so good. But anyway, yeah, this has Bluetooth, so that's one of the features that you don't have to use. But it is a Bluetooth one, and it keeps it with the atomic time. But if you set it, you're still going to get plus or minus, I think it's plus or minus 15 seconds per month. All my G-Shocks and Citizens, I'm getting way better. I'm getting closer to 5 to 7 seconds a month. So it's usually pretty good. So every 3, 4, 5 months or so, you could update it if you're not going to use the Bluetooth. That's no problem at all. So like I said, it has the Find Your Phone feature. So this button right here, you push this, and I set my phone down. I work from home, and I set my phone down all the time. And it's hard to find sometimes. God forbid it goes in a cushion. So whether you have the little switch on the volume up, it doesn't matter where the volume is or whether you have the switch for the audio shut off, it's still going to make a sound with the Find Your Phone feature. But you got to be within 15, 20 feet, sometimes less, depends where the phone is. So if you walk around your house or whatever, a good chance this is going to help you find your phone, which is pretty cool. It has a LED light for the entire face. We're going to show you that. I'll try to make it a little bit darker here so you can see that, and also see the lume. And also there's a backlight for the LCD that's blue. It has a really nice blue blue background with the numbers showing in the reverse in the middle. And that LED is so bright that I can walk in my bedroom. I can turn this on in a totally black room, and I can see the floor and everything with the LED that's in here. Really impressive. Of course, it has the calendar. It has a date, and the year, and the month, 12 and 24-hour time you see on most Casio G-Shocks. The key beep you could turn on or off. The power has a power save feature, so it's going to go, I forgot how long, 6 months, 10 months, whatever, in total darkness. It shuts everything down but keeps track of the time. So that's the power save feature. I leave it upside down sometimes on my dresser at night, and the whole thing will shut off. And as soon as I flip it over, the second hand whips into shape, and it starts keeping track of the visible time, but it always keeps the time going. That backlight and the LED are tied together, and they're adjustable, either 1.5 or 3 seconds. So you can set that on how long you want that to be. You can also shut the Bluetooth off. If you don't use the Bluetooth, you can shut it off. This way it's not trying to ping a phone that's not there and using up power. So that's really cool that you can shut that off. It also has a hand shift feature. So I think it's these 2 buttons here. If you push these 2 buttons, or is it these 2 buttons? There's New York. Oh, that's the button that shows you what time zone you're in. Let's try it one more time. Let me try it from here. See if that works. Still not working. UTC. I'll figure that out in a second. I'm probably not doing it right. Let me switch this around to here. Let me try one more try. Oh, I know why. I think it has to be on the date. Nope. There it goes. I think you have to hold it down longer than I was holding it down. That's all. Yeah. So how cool is that? And sometimes it does it automatically when you're doing things. When you're trying to set something and it knows you can't read the display that you need for setting, like in the set mode, it'll do that automatically. And there you push those 2 and it brings it back. Excuse me. All right, continuing on. We'll look into the face in a second. All right, let's talk about more of the outside of the watch, and then we'll dive into that dial. So here is the back, and on the back it has all the normal stuff you would see about the Bluetooth and all the registration numbers for Bluetooth, because it is a radio. And it's Japan movement, and it is cased in China. We have the model number right there, GST-B200. There you could water resist 200. You could read all the rest of the stuff in there. So that's the writing on there. And just a little comment on the design. They did a really great job with that industrial look, the stainless steel and the strap. This is a resin strap. It's a lot softer than the less expensive G-Shocks. That's kind of a harder resin. This is much softer. Could be polyurethane, but they're saying it's resin. It's just a nice soft version of it. This looks like a little bit like, its crosshatch looks a little bit like carbon fiber, but it's actually actual ridges. It's just ridges in the actual strap. We have a floating keeper marked G-Shock instead of a metal. I like this better. It doesn't make noise. It doesn't get scratched up as much on counters. Really soft and comfortable. No hot spots on the stainless steel polished buckle. I think that's it. Many holes on here. So I don't think it's going to be a problem for smaller wrists or large. Look how many holes in there. So, you got ones all the way up here. So a very small wrist can actually wear this strap, no problems. Also, the strap has quick disconnect feature. So you just pull that over with a tool or something or anything, and this strap will come right off. And then you could take, they make other models of these with different colors. You could actually put a different color in there, and I'm sure they're going to offer, I hope they're going to offer more straps so you can just swap it out and make it look really cool. Back here you can see a little red mark on that button. So we got 5 buttons here. This is not this crown position button is actually a push button in the middle. It doesn't turn. So that's kind of just to give it a better look. But that's what you would do. You push this button and it'll do the time sync. I could push it once right now. You can see the time set. And it's going to say no. Excuse me. It's going to say no because the Bluetooth is off on my phone. And there you go. All right, let's set it back to the day we got in London time now. That's all right. All right, let's go through the features. Also, it's a solar panel. I think that very center part is a solar panel right through here. And what other spot did I think? Oh, up here. I think that's a solar panel too. So I believe those two up there and this whole center is the solar panel. All right, let's just go through the functions. So the reason why I like it so much is I throw it on my wrist. I just hit this button here, go right to the chronograph. And let me reset that. There we go. So I just hit the button, I'm done. The buttons, you could use you don't need your fingernails like on the little square G-Shocks. You would, you just hit this button and it goes right through all the functions. And you don't have to wait. This thing is so fast. You don't have to wait for hands to move and things to happen. See how fast it is? World time, stopwatch, boom, stop it, adjust it, I'm on my walk. That's how easy it is. Then you could just leave it running and you can go through the other functions, still use those while that's running in the background. The first position I leave it on all the time is the fuel gauge for the battery. You see it's full. If it starts getting low, I just throw it in the sun for a few hours. And then it has red line down here for when it's getting in the danger zone. Really, I love the power battery level feature. The first stop, as you can see on the multi-arrow right here, is the world time. Let me put it on the time. That's in London time, 5:32. The next setting here is the ST for stopwatch or chronograph, whatever you want to call it. As you can see, it's still running. The next one is the, what is the next one there? That is the countdown timer. I have it on 5 seconds, so I'm going to run that right now so you can hear what this sounds like for the alarms, the hourly chime, or the countdown timer is going to have the same level of audio. There it's counting down. All right, let me go back over to that and see why I didn't hear it. You hear that? Yep. So that's what it sounds like. It's kind of noisy out here, so I couldn't hear it from far away. I got my earbuds in. And then here we have the signal off. So you just hit this button, boom, it's on. That's how easy. Signal off, on. Same thing with the alarms. So if you go through here, you got alarm 1. See, they're all off. But you can just hit this button, turn it on. That's how fast and easy. Hit the adjust button. You can adjust that alarm for whatever time you want. It's got 4 alarms. If you do something like every day at 12 o'clock or something, just use one of those, leave it on all the time, and you're good to go. You don't have to keep setting that. And then the signal, same thing. I got it off right now. I like doing that on during the daytime. It reminds me that the hours are passing. Every hour that chime is going to go on. Back to the power. So that's how easy. That's why I love it. It's just so easy to use, easy to see. As you can tell, the LCD and the hands are just a no-brainer on how easy it is to read the time. Let's take another look at it. So we got polished surfaces there. We got brushed surfaces mixed with polished, like the buttons are polished on the side, but satin or brushed on the face of them. Screws are polished. The lugs are satin. So you got a mix of polishing. It's mostly satin, so it doesn't give too blingy of appearance, but it got that sparkle because some, like the bezel edges here you see are polished. So that gives it a really nice look. Highly recommend this watch. One of my very favorites. I'm so glad I got it. I use it all the time. It's been monopolizing my wrist time. But if I'm doing walking around the neighborhoods and hikes, I wear one watch. But if I'm going deep in the woods, I wear 2 as a backup. And whenever I go in my truck and I take off into town, I always wear 2 watches. I'm a 2-watch guy. If I wear something like this, I'll wear a mechanical on my other wrist. If I'm wearing all digital, I'll wear something with hands on the other just to mix it up. But I always have one that has alarms and stuff for the features. Let me go over my notes and make sure I didn't miss anything. I hate missing stuff, which I sometimes do a wristwatch check. I miss, and sometimes I forget to put the watch on, which I'm going to do right now. I'm going to put on this watch. I have 7.5-inch wrists that are kind of wide and not round, so watches fit pretty well for me, even big ones. So there it is on my wrist. Very comfortable. That's a soft body. There's no break-in period on that soft strap. If you have really small wrists, it might be a stretch, like 6.5. But other than that, it's just a very beautiful, comfortable watch. Yeah, not too thick. All right, let me go through my notes. Oh, so I've got a mineral crystal, not sapphire. I wish I had sapphire. I wish every watch had sapphire. I just like sapphire so much. But most of the G-Shocks are protected. I've never scratched a G-Shock mineral crystal ever. I think because they're protected. This one here is below the level. It's underneath, so it's not proud. So it's gonna be, it keeps it protected. It's a lot better when they do that. I like when they do that. And most G-Shocks are recessed, so that's why I think that's not too much of a problem. And as you know, mineral is gonna be way more shock resistant. If you drop it in a sharp rock, it lands like right there, you'll probably mar it or scratch it a little bit. Maybe not, but if you did, but it's not going to shatter usually. It's going to take a lot of force, where a sapphire has the possibility of shattering much easier. I think I covered everything. I went a little bit long, but I think I covered everything that's on here. We got sort of sword type hands. I don't know if I mentioned that. I think that's it. Yeah, I covered everything here. Oh, one last thing. This is a proprietary type. They have adapters. You could put other straps on here, but since it's quick release, they're going to make more. Probably adapter isn't necessary, but you can get them and then put a NATO or something on there. But the distance from here to here, it doesn't quite have the lug to lug, which is in the center here. But the width across here is 25 millimeters, and it goes all the way down to 20 millimeters down at the other end. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks so much for watching my watch review, and congrats if you made it all the way to the end and had some coffee or something. But I try to make these as informative as I can, so you know what you're getting when you buy the watch. I forgot to mention the really cool red accents on there. I think that really sets it off. They didn't overdo it, but it gives it that splash of color that I really appreciate in a watch. I didn't mention those minute markers along the edge. And those angled indices really catch the light and give it a little bit of a flare, but they're satin, they're not really overly polished. We got silver on the hands as well. Got a white second hand, which I love. Goes almost all the way to indices. Got a nice long second hand. All right, so that's the third of my series of On the Deck reviews, and we're going to do a lot more. So stay tuned. Please hit the bell notification, and you'll get notified when I'm going to show. I'm going to show all my G-Shocks and what I like about each one. Just a real quick video of all the ones I'm going to be doing a review of. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time, and I hope you take your favorite watch on your next adventure. Take care.